So, fun fact about Jaclyn, her father's name is Danny, not Dan, not Daniel, Danny, and she calls him Danny, like, not Dad. She's like, Danny, and I'm like, wait, this is crazy.
That's definitely not normal. I recognize that.
It's hilarious. For so long, I thought it was a nickname, but then your mom said Danny, and I said, oh, is that not a nickname?
Like, no, that's his name on his birth certificate. Danny.
Strange.
Shout out to you, Pops. Let's roll the intro. Well, welcome back to another episode of Poddy Talk, the podcast where we shit talk ourselves. I'm Jaclyn.
And I'm Tor.
And I think today we're moving beyond just shit talking ourselves. We're including the family in here. Danny, welcome to the pod.
Sorry.
Anyways, if you were following along the episodes weekly, last week we did an episode doing a bit of a quiz? A questionnaire, I guess would be the more formal word. And we basically were talking for so long that we needed to extend the overflow questions into today's episode.
So we're continuing on the 36 questions that lead to love.
That lead to love, friendship, great relationships. So we have a few more to go. We're going to finish those up and then also dive into whatever else we feel like rambling about today.
So the question we left off on was, Jaclyn, share your most embarrassing moment in your life.
Okay, this is my default embarrassing moment. And I feel like I might have mentioned this in a YouTube video. I can't remember. But when I was in grade 8, I was doing a charity fundraiser for...
Mine was also in grade 8.
Really?
That must have been a bad year.
Bad year across the board. Just a race grade 8.
Yeah.
And I was doing we were raising money for a charity for Relay for Life, which... Have you ever done Relay for Life?
No.
Oh, but do you know what it is?
Yeah.
It's like where you relay... Yeah, anyways. So we were doing a cotton candy fundraiser, me and my best friend Courtney, and Courtney really took the reins of the operation. We rented like an industrial cotton candy machine maker that you would use at a carnival. And us in grade 8, being the young businesswomen that we were making it up for the whole school. We took our orders. The thing is, we actually got some teachers on board. We were able to get out of classes all day to make the cotton candy and deliver it to all the students. And we were making it there was like 2 gyms in our school. So there was an extra gym that was like kind of in the basement and with like lower ceilings. So we got permission to work in there all day. And that was our little operation. And we were kind of under the watch of another teacher. And long story short, we were so how cotton candy works, you basically pour sugar in it, like flavored sugar in this device. It heats it up and then it kind of somehow magically makes it whippable and it kind of turns into that candy floss.
Yeah. And
Courtney, was spending minutes on each piece. Like it was an effort. Like she was sweating. It was quite a lot of work for each stick of cotton candy. And we must have been no more than 10 minutes into the operation. We were just getting the groove going. And all of a sudden, when it does it, the sugar is getting burnt a little bit. And you can kind of see like little smoke rising.
Oh my God, did it create a fire?
But that's normal. Like, it does burn the sugar.
Okay.
All of a sudden, we hear... the whole fire alarm starts going off. Me, being dumb, goes, well, that's an inconvenient time for a fire alarm. Like, I wish the school would have told us we had a drill today.
Oh.
Not putting 2 and 2 together that we were so low, the ceilings were so low that we had set off the fire alarm ourselves.
Oh, my God.
So... basically, the entire school evacuates. The teacher that was supervising us is like, oh my God, let's get out of here. And then we finally realized, oh my God, that was us that did that.
Oh my God.
So the way my elementary school works, there was a big kind of hill in front of the school that like was in front of a pond or like a river. So the whole school kind of evacuates near the river and at the front of the hill kind of looking at the school. So basically the whole school is evacuating. We knew we could cause the situation, so we weren't really in an urgent rush to get out. We wanted to make sure we turned the devices off and we're like really shutting the operation down. And so at this point, the whole school's evacuated. Myself, the principal, and this one teacher, and Courtney, my friend, were the last 4 to exit. And we leave out the front doors of the school, like basically looking on to the entire evacuated school and students.
God.
And I was mortified. And I don't know why. Looking back, it doesn't seem that embarrassing. But, like, at the time, the whole school knew it was us. And, like, all the eyes were on us.
That's a lot of, like, unwanted attention.
And then the real kicker was that it was Courtney's mom's, one of her first days on duty as a volunteer firefighter.
Oh, my God.
So we see coming across the river on the bridge,
her
mom on the fire truck.
Stop.
So we were just it was a disaster of a day. And the whole school hated us. I was so embarrassed.
Yeah, that is kind of embarrassing.
What's yours?
I mean, I am an embarrassing person. Like, I've had a lot of embarrassing, because, I'm very outgoing and crazy, so that naturally leads to embarrassing moments, because I'm always so extra.
Yeah.
And sometimes in a bad way, right? So, like, I get myself into bad situations. The one that comes to mind actually also triggered grade 8. I had this huge crush on this guy, and we were doing one of those bake sales, you know, and one of the tables had, you know, those like vintage, I don't know if they're actually vintage, but I remember them in elementary school and middle school, the kind of cash registers that were like metal, like heavy, you know, and you'd like use those to do the bake sales and like organize your money. So I'm not saying it was super heavy, but I'm definitely gonna like say that it was heavy. And so it was on one of those, you know, the big long lunch tables that you would eat lunch at. It was sitting on that. And so I'm in the hallway and like some of my friends were around, and then the group of guys who like we were the Frenchies because we spoke French. They were like the English guys. So they like came over and they started talking to us. So I was like, oh my God, like my crush is here. Like I'm just so stoked about this. So I go and I hop up on this table. Keep in mind, the only thing on the table is now me and this cash register basically. When I say I broke the literal table, like it collapsed underneath me, fully collapsed. And I'm sure I broke my tailbone, but it didn't even matter because the beet red face could have, you know, like it was just too much. It could have conquered all. So I'm obviously, and of course everyone's laughing. My crush is laughing. Like it's funny, like this girl. And keep in mind, like in grade 8, I was probably like 4'9", like
a small human,
and like 100 pounds, like. It's not like I was like, you know, a big person. Not that even should play into it, but I like hopped up on the table and it gave out on me.
Oh my God. Wait, so you hopped on the same end as the cash register or the opposite end?
In the middle, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So I guess I just like, I don't know if it had to do with the balance or the fact that I just literally was too heavy for this table.
Oh, no. Wait, so what?
Oh, and then I didn't even get to like the actual part. So because it was just me and the cash, the money flew everywhere. Like I broke, and then the thing hit, and then boom. So
made it rain?
Coins. I mean, making money moves since day one. So anyways, embarrassing.
Oh my God. Sure. Wait, so I need the follow-up. Did this guy
We never dated. We never dated.
I mean, that goes there. Okay, well, grade 8 was an awful time. Let's move on from those dark days.
Question 30. When did you last cry in front of another person or by yourself? Question mark.
Last night.
Last night you cried. Why?
I cry out of happiness often, but I also cry like from music. Like I was at a show last night. I cried during a song. It just like made me so happy.
Oh, that's awesome.
I cry, I feel like fairly easily, actually.
Same. I'm like triggered pretty
What about
easily.
you? What was your last?
Yeah, 2 nights ago when I was at the bachelorette party. I don't know if it was the wine or what, but actually my good friend, her aunt is really sick, and I was sitting beside her mom at the dinner. So we got into one of those like deep combos, and I'm also very compassionate. So when I see other people get upset, and then I just started crying at the dinner table. It was nice because it was just her and I talking. It wasn't like other people had noticed. And I kept saying, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm crying. And she's like, no, I've cried a lot. Like, if anything, it's nice that you like, you know, understand.
I find that like crying is such an on or off thing for me in the sense that like I can't do like one of those nice like tears. Like I'm either sobbing or I'm like not at all.
No, I'm actually a pretty crier. Like, and by that I mean like I can do the like tears and still talk, which because that's what it was at the dinner. Like I was like crying, but I was like, I'm just so sorry that I'm crying. You know, like it's like I'm like, well, like I can usually manage it. Sometimes I can't, and I'll be honest. I'm like, yo, I'm overwhelmed. I can't manage it. It's a bit of a skill to be able to pull back when you're like kind of losing it, especially in speeches. I've learned like if I start to get emotional, it's a real art to be able to do the like fake cry. No, it's not a fake cry. That's not true. But I will say like one of the speeches that was given at the Bachelorette, you could just tell she was great at speeches, and it was like the watery eye,
like
but it was
too good.
Maybe maybe an authentic, but like wasn't. But it's like the watery eye. But then it's you know,
and there's
like
a funny moment to take you out of it, and then there's the emotional.
Exactly.
Almost
and it's the art, or it's like the art of speeches. Like there's definitely something to it. I mean, I'm that's my goal. I want to get there.
You want to be there.
Totally.
Single
like
tear,
at
ready
weddings
to go.
and stuff, like to be the person, or even birthdays.
That makes the night.
If you can be the one that like makes the speeches or makes the night. And those are the people that are emotionally invested without being too emotional. Because there's a fine line. Like, you can be too emotional and then, like, lose the audience. But if you get them going, you hook them, it's, like, perfect.
And there has to be a fine line between sharing personal stories that the audience weren't a part of, but making them feel like they're a part of it.
See, I'm really bad at that. Like, I feel like if I'm telling a friend's story, I get to, like, this was our inside joke.
Yeah.
And I can tell I do that. But you want to make everyone feel like they're a part of it. And there's the art of the speech. Yeah.
Wow, we need to work on that.
We do.
By the time your wedding comes around, maybe I'll master it.
Okay, what, if anything, is too serious to be joked about?
This is so hard. I've actually had this conversation with my brother quite often because my brother is so like everything's fair game, everything can be made fun of.
Like insensitive a little bit?
No, I wouldn't say he personally is insensitive, but his stance on like comedy in that sense is that anything
goes.
Putting certain restrictions is like it doesn't
like you know how
sense.
Some people would be like offended by Amy Schumer.
Either it's all fair play or none of it's fair play. And I kind of get that, but also like the more rational human side of me, I'm like, you just kind of have to know your audience and like if I don't know. I mean, I'm not.
Are there topics that like you personally are like you'll shy away from and you're like, oh, that's not funny to me?
Well, personally, like I find self-deprecating humor personally to be what I guess maybe fall to more because I just think it's easier for the laugh to be on me. Like why would I want to do that to someone else?
Right.
But I mean, I still love making fun of other people, but I don't know. I find I tend to also be attracted to people more when they are more self-deprecating versus like a bully and like, you know?
Yeah. It's
but
less
I don't know.
funny.
I do agree like with what my brother says in the sense that it's either all fair play or not, but I just also think it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Somewhat being sensitive to certain...
It's true.
I don't know. That's a hard question.
I think I'm pretty good at being the butt of jokes. Like, I think there's been many opportunities where, like, I have the type of personality that if someone were to make me the butt of the joke, I can laugh.
Play along,
and I can, like, get in on it. Except for that time that you made fun of my Paris almost car accident. It went way too far. This was actually an iconic story.
I felt really bad about
we talked about in more recent episodes how Jaclyn and I, like, obviously shit talk each other every day. Like, but to each other, like, to each other's faces.
I also have a problem with like laughing at the worst times. Like I'm a nervous laugher.
I think I was this was like almost years ago, but I told this story in the car. We got into a taxi.
I felt so bad.
We got into a taxi and I made like kind of a, like strict like thing in the car when I got in. I was like, yo, everyone put your seatbelt on. And then I was like, recently when Adam and I were in Paris.
Oh my God, I'm still laughing.
I know. I was like, Adam and I didn't have our seatbelts on when we left this hotel. And just as we had pulled away, like we literally by the hair of our chinny chin chins did not get into a car accident. And so I was really triggered by that because it was obviously scary. I'm in a foreign country. We like should have immediately put our seatbelts on. There was all these things. Immediately as I tell the story, Jaclyn is like peeing herself laughing. And then this is the one time I think I've ever cut you off.
You were
and
like,
I said, Jaclyn, that's not funny. This wasn't funny. This was actually a horrible experience. And then you just like crawled into this.
I know. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I knew you were being serious about it. I think it was just the way that you had said it. You're like, yeah, no, I almost got killed last week in a car accident. I was like, what? And you're like, yeah, I don't know. Just the way you said it. I thought it was. I'm like, no, you didn't almost just die. You're like, yes, I did. And I was like questioning the legitimacy of your story.
Horrible.
No, and then you were like, that's it. I'm being serious. And you like sat there, and I sat there. I was like,
yeah. And then I was.
And then after the car ride, because there was also I think we had
there was tons of people.
There was more people in the car, so I didn't want to like make a big scene. And then once we got out, I was like, I'm so sorry. Like that, I totally didn't realize that.
That was my line. I was like, oh, it wasn't funny. Like anyways, that was just the question. But
wait, where was because
the question was, is there anything too serious?
Sure.
I guess when you go through something that intense.
Reading your audience, like if people are getting offended by your jokes, it's not funny if no one's laughing with you. You know?
Exactly.
That was a time I learned very quickly. Put your seatbelts on.
Yes. Okay, so question 34. Your house containing everything you own catches fire. After saving your loved ones and pets, you have time to safely make a final dash to save one item. What would it be?
My either childhood photos or like childhood diaries.
Yeah.
Probably, I like both of them together. I couldn't pick pictures or diaries. They're both so important to me. Like I've been writing a diary since I was like in grade 3. I love writing, and it's so fascinating to just like open up a page and be like, oh my God, like that's exactly where my headspace was when I was in grade 4 or whatever.
Totally.
And it's like oddly still relatable and like honest.
Yeah.
But also I like so cherish my childhood photos and like videos and all of that stuff. So more like memory box things, I guess.
No, totally.
What about you?
Well, it's interesting because when I picture my condo, I could go without it all, which is interesting. I think if my condo, like where I live now, were to go up in flames, I could get away. Like I'd be okay. It's actually it's more the sentimental things that would be like at my parents' house, like things like yearbooks with people's written things, or things like those clothes that you save from like your concerts you used to go to that like you obviously don't keep in your day-to-day wardrobe, but that are like still so important to me that I wouldn't get rid of that are like at my parents' house. So I feel like Yeah, you go for the sentimental.
The memory stuff.
Like, I could get away, I mean, maybe I'd grab a pair of my Manolas, like, just not trying to be dramatic, but, like, if I could just snag another item, I'd get my favorite pair of shoes.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like anything material nowadays, like, you can replace it or buy a new one or whatever, but it's just the things that have the memories attached.
It is. That would be, because we actually had a break-in in my childhood and lost.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Really?
So we lost all of our videos from when we were kids.
Your home videos?
Yeah.
Wait,
So
that's an odd thing for someone to steal.
No, because they took the box with the camera in it, and it had all the tape. So they just took the box because they saw the camera.
Any of your home videos?
Nope. So I can't be like Kim Kardashian pulling out my freaking vintage
that's
film.
so
It's
sad.
so sad. So because that happened.
How old were you when that happened?
About 13.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, like, all of our childhood, like, yeah, really bad.
Was that, like, devastating at the time?
Yeah. It was what we were obviously most sad about.
Right.
Yeah. Because my mom had, like, you know, necklaces and nice things stolen. Like, we did not care about that. It was much more that they had taken our camera with all of our videos.
Wow, that's actually so sad.
Triggered. Okay. Share a personal problem. This is the last question because we've kind of skipped some of them that are more like relationship heavy.
What are you looking for in a significant other?
So share a personal problem and ask your partner's advice on how he or she might handle it. Also ask your partner to reflect back to you how they seem to be feeling about the problem you have chosen.
Wait, that was a lot. Can I
Okay, so basically share a problem that you feel like maybe you're dealing with right now, and then I'll share advice. Okay. And that's basically it.
Gauge how good my problem was? Is that the...
No, I just reflect back on it for you.
Oh, okay. A problem that I'm dealing with right now... That's pretty good.
No, when you're too good to do it.
Actually, maybe it's more, I'm in the process of kind of moving right now. In a few weeks, I will be in my own place and in a new place, which will be really exciting, but I haven't been like a single homeowner ever.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a problem, but maybe just like navigating all that. I don't think I really know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
And you kind of recently went through that experience. So maybe just like words of advice and or...
Yeah,
like, tell me what I need to get rid of.
I think you're naive to the fact of how much your parents do for you. So that will be shocking for you. Like, that was the biggest thing I noticed when I finally moved out is the simplest things that you don't realize other people are either helping you with or, you know, are a part of. Like, whether that's cooking, but you're not cooking alone, or like whether that's cleaning or you're not cleaning alone.
Up on the way home,
or they're
running
picking
an
up
errand.
something for you and they're doing that errand and they're doing all these things.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first went to university, like, so this was 5 years ago now, I was very overwhelmed in the first couple of months of living alone. And I still had roommates, so it was a little different because I still had a bit of support.
Yeah.
Because by the time I moved out on my own, I was so ready to live alone because I had 4 years of roommates that it was a little different. But I remember if my true reflection of moving out was when I went to university, and it was definitely a transition. And I don't think you realize it until you're in it. And it was interesting because who I was living with at the time wasn't spending a ton of time at the house. Because
so it felt like you were alone?
Yeah, because she had a new boyfriend. So I was spending way more time alone than I was expecting to. Like, I thought it would be like, oh, my roommate and I are going to cook. My roommate and I are going to go out.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't really like that. And I wasn't dating anyone in first year. So it was probably my loneliest year, actually, in a good way. No, in a good way.
Okay.
Like, I think I learned a lot about myself. And drank a lot of vodka with friends that year in first year.
This is my future.
No,
once
but
I move out.
Again, I was younger and I was in university. But I think that was like, you know, you learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah, I think that's so true. Like, I do think there's going to be so many little things that I'm like, wow, I did not realize the help of just being at home.
Around people.
Just around people.
Yeah.
What about you? What are some issues you need some advice from good old Jaclyn?
Let me think.
Get a good one. I'm ready to give some good advice.
Maybe it's that I am a little upset about myself that I didn't tackle, like, the technical side of the industry earlier. Like, fully understanding editing and, like, even though I'm older, even though I'm young, but I feel older, like, it really, and you know, I'm not patient with things, so it bothers me that I'm not good at certain things, so I lose patience with myself. Like, even we were walking through an edit and Jaclyn's like, this is how you do it, and because I'm trying to speed it up and, like, get through it faster, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get a better result, right? Like, it's like you're just rushing, you're trying to do it. So I guess just finding patience in learning something new.
I also think, though, you don't necessarily give yourself enough credit for what you do know, and you're actually a lot more savvy in all those skill sets than you think you are.
Yeah, I guess.
You just also need to remember that you're surrounded, your boyfriend is literally a cinematographer, like, he edits, and, like, that's his job, and he's, like, so proficient, beyond proficient in that. So, like, I feel like you're comparing what you're learning to like the end
the people
result
that are the best in the industry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like that's already just like an unrealistic
the standard is a little high.
Yeah, it's like you're
I'm
doing
like,
just
drag and
fine.
drop. I don't know.
No, but also like you also need to recognize how quickly you have learned, because the last like month that we've kind of been diving into this project, you literally did not even have Final Cut Pro downloaded onto your computer.
Guys, it's $400. I don't know like whose budget that fits into, but
yeah, you had a hefty Apple shop. What was your what did you end up doing? New MacBook?
I had to get a new computer, a hard drive. Like, guys, I invested in this.
That was just a luxury. That was not necessary.
I know, but necessary for, my marathon training.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm seeing how many
podcasts we can say the marathon.
The marathon is happening.
Someone keep track of how many episodes we talk about the marathon.
It needs to turn into a drinking game. Every time I say 100%, or every time I say ridiculous, or anytime we mention the marathon, you have to have a glass of wine.
Yeah, love that.
Love it.
Love it. But yeah, no, I also think too, like, these types of skills are so, like, it's not like you missed a certain time in your life to learn them. You can learn them at any time, and you are learning, and you need to give yourself credit. And
I think it's interesting because when you're starting a new like venture in your business, it's rare when you're working in like a corporate setting that you would be doing all of the jobs, right?
Oh.
Like we were talking about like Kylie Jenner earlier today, and like we're obviously super envious of her career and the things that she's done. But what's crazy is she has this massive team behind her. Like she's not in the video plus editing plus shooting. It's like very different when you're taking so many hats and so many roles on at once.
Yeah, well, that was something I think this conversation even stems back to what we always talk about, how the more traditional media industry kind of looks down upon content creators or YouTubers.
Right.
But it's also like, I don't think you necessarily give these people enough credit, because when you're in a production, and I used to work as a makeup artist on a film and TV show, my only job that entire day, every single day, was just to do the makeup and make sure they looked good on camera, to make sure they didn't have powder, make sure their eyeliner was clean, to make sure their lips, like, that was my only job.
Yeah.
And that's all I had to focus on all day. Whereas now when I shoot a video for a brand, I have to make sure my nails are perfectly manicured. The continuity of my hair in this shot is the same as this shot. My makeup has to be done properly. Then I need to also set up the shots, direct it, write the script, edit it, light it, style myself, be the wardrobe stylist. And like you're running all these different, and then also you have to do the distribution process, get it, like all the back end stuff. So you're really
strategy, marketing, caption creation, all
and
of the things.
Not that I'm saying that making a YouTube video is the same scale of creating a Game of Thrones episode, because obviously that's not equivalent. But there are so many other aspects that I feel like I've become way more well-rounded working as a solo content creator versus working on a film and TV set.
Yeah. Well, you're getting exposed and creating different skills. Yeah.
And I also feel like I appreciate all those,
how much work it is.
Well, yeah. Also now I'm like, oh my God, back when I did that TV show, the editor had to do so much blah, blah, blah. Or this person had to, like, I value all the other different positions now, whereas I didn't have much of an understanding as...
It's true.
Like back when I was doing it. So anyways, no, that's very fascinating to me. But yeah, you see the people like, I mean, I think the whole Kylie thing we were watching, she posted a day in the life vlog, which was so fascinating to watch, because I think it's so easy to get caught up in the whole like, oh, Kardashians, they're such like a different world. Like, you watch this, you're like, oh, she sure has
billionaires. They're just like us.
Of course, it's an extraordinary situation that she's in, and she's like obviously very lucky, but also worked for what she has.
Yeah, how do you feel about her like net worth and like all of that?
Honestly, it kind of makes me mad when people belittle her in the sense that they say that she's not a self-made billionaire.
Right.
The whole article that I was reading on Forbes, actually, just before we started filming this, it was saying Forbes
Do you own the magazine, Jaclyn?
My father does own Forbes magazine, so might be biased. That's a joke, obviously. I have no relation to Forbes magazine.
Hence why we're in the closet.
I would not be filming a podcast
would have been like
in here.
Through the roof.
That's very true. But Forbes' definition of a self-made billionaire was someone who did not inherit their wealth. So it wasn't given to them, say, passed down from rich parents or whatever, relatives, blah, 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 blah. It's that they made all their own money themselves. Now, I guess the big argument online is what constitutes someone being self-made, because, say, for Kylie Jenner's situation is that, well, she came from a family that was well-known, and her family had wealth in different areas. But I also feel like that's not a fair argument, because guess what? She did completely create her own cosmetic company by herself. Yeah, sure. She probably had great guidance from her sisters, her family, whatever. And I'm not saying it of course helped her business that she had a foundation of coming from a family that was well known. Sure. Yeah. But she could have totally sat on her butt and did nothing with her life and took the easy route. But no, she hustled, and And sure, she started from a place of privilege, but also used that to her advantage and created an empire off of it.
Still strategized. Exactly.
So I don't think you should belittle someone just because
100%.
it's not her fault she was born into that. She made the best of what she could. And just as, I think that's just
And
as
what's ironic is no one else in the family is a billionaire. So you're telling me that's a coincidence? Like,
Yeah,
don't
like-
you think if everyone could be a billionaire, they would be?
Yeah, there's definitely a skill set.
net worth was only what, like 330 or maybe 400 million?
which is still great. Good for you, Kim.
Fabulous. We love that for you. But I'm just saying, if they could all be at that level, they would be. So the fact that she was special and doing something unique, it shows.
No,
it
exactly.
really shows.
And I think
And then look, they all ended up copying her. Now Kim's doing her makeup line.
Yeah.
Kendall's getting involved in Kylie's. Like, it's, you know, and that's amazing that she shares in her wealth. But I agree. Like, it's not fair to say, oh, hey, yeah, this was all just privilege playing its course.
And I think if we're being completely honest, the whole idea of saying anyone is self-made, I mean, obviously this doesn't apply to necessarily everyone, but I would argue that that is not really even a thing. Because if you think about it, anything in life, there are people that are supporting your business and can be in any sense. So, for example, let's say small scale, our situations, our own personal businesses. Like, I have my mom, who's always been such a huge supporter in the back end and helping me do all of that stuff. I have, you know, a team member on my much side that's doing all the legal work. And then I have this person here and then my financial advisor, and like all these different people that, sure, I am a solo entity and I own my own company, but I have all these other little pieces that without their support and without their guidance,
it would be impossible.
I would not be able to be doing what I'm doing. And I'm the very low end of this scale, but on any scale of any company, I don't care if random Joe Blow was the one who started it all by themselves.
Yeah.
There's either investors, there's other people, there's support from other people that make a person
that make it. What do they
flourish.
say?
So is anyone even self-made? That's the question.
I know, it takes a team, or it takes a village.
It
really,
does, but I think it's also important to recognize
teamwork makes the dream
exactly.
work.
Got to support your team because they're the ones that actually are the ones behind the curtain.
It's true. It's not just, you're right. It's never just one person and one vision. Everyone needs mentors. Everyone needs, yes, investors, other people to get involved. I think that's really interesting.
What do you think? So you agree that Kylie should be called a self-made billionaire? Because I think she should. I don't think that should be taken away from her.
I think she should. I guess my only caveat, or like the only thing that makes me feel a little hesitant about saying that, is the crazy amount of privilege that she was born into. Like, it is a little different on her scale, because let's be honest, you have someone like Kris Jenner at the helm of her life and her career. And like, I agree with you, and like I had even already said, this was up to Kylie to ideate this idea, to strategize what Kylie Cosmetics was going to be. So it's impossible for us to not pass credit where credit is due. 100%, that was like fully in her making. But I guess my argument is, and I don't even really know the answer to this, but you know, is it different if you're born into a level of privilege? Like, I will say, like, I can recognize my privilege where it is due, and I was exposed to a lot of things, and my passions were honed because of it, and there's other people and families who are not in those positions, and that's not to say they won't be more successful even than Kylie. It's just, it is a stepping stool.
I do think that is, like, valuable.
Money makes more money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like there's this weird line.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I do think it's important. You have to recognize the privilege that you started off with, because you might be starting 10 feet ahead of someone else who was
like, if
behind
anything,
the starting line.
almost my hat, and I don't really, I appreciate and love Kylie's career, and I'm very envious of it, but in many ways, my hat goes off even more to Kim, because to me, she's more of a trailblazer.
Sure,
and
she started it off.
Who was really, really thinking, I'm a businesswoman. How am I going to make this career work? How am I going to put this family on the map? That is like true strategy at its core.
True.
Whereas Kylie, it was much more, okay, I have this money.
How can I optimize it?
It's a different approach. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying, as a woman, Kim was a trailblazer in her own right. When people say she's not a businesswoman, I think that is the biggest joke.
I am so pro-Kardashian.
I'm like, Kim is my inspo.
I just think it's such an old thing to say, oh my God, the Kardashians have no talent. And it's like, you can think whatever you want about them as people and their personal lives. It is literally no room for argument. They are incredible business
and very
women.
Successful. So there really is no room for
That's
argument.
what I'm saying. Like, I think it's so like old, the whole hate train for the Kardashians.
I agree.
Love what they're doing. Kardashians, if you see this, let us be honorary.
Thank you.
Sisters, cousins, we'll take anything.
Poddy talk.
Poddy talk. oh my God, let's get a Kardashian on Poddy Talk.
That's the goal.
We'll put that out in the universe.
So Kim just really does it for me. I continue to watch Keeping Up every Sunday.
You keep up.
I'm a little embarrassed to say, but I really have. I pay for cable for it, so.
Really? Wait, you pay for cable?
Yeah, do you?
Oh, I'm not going to get cable in
I'm not
place.
like a millennial that cut the cord. You know how
No,
they
I'm not
say
paying for that.
Oh, it's worth
I just need internet. I just need internet.
But you
I'm
know
good.
that I love TV and like I'm
You're
very
so much more a
passionate
TV
about
person and I'm so much more an internet person.
I agree.
That's our biggest difference.
It is our biggest difference. If you weren't working like in the internet world and on social media and all those things, what do you think you would be doing?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of think that I'd hope that I'd still kind of be in a similar-ish industry. I mean, like, obviously growing up doing more traditional, like, film and TV acting, then segueing. Guys, fun fact.
I cannot speak.
I used to think the word segue as in not the motorized vehicle? But, like, bringing two thoughts together and segueing into one another. I thought it was spelled like Segway, like Segway, like the vehicle. I didn't realize Segway was spelled Segui.
Yes.
Like, Segui.
Welcome to the English language, Jaclyn.
Yo, that blew my mind. I was typing it out one day, and I don't know if it was you or someone else was like, are you writing that, like, to be funny? And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, why'd you write Segway? Like, the vehicle. But you meant Segui. Anyways.
Iconic.
I'm getting off track. I need to segue back into this conversation. What were we just talking about?
I said, what would you be doing?
Oh, right.
Clearly not an English major.
Yeah, that is crazy. Definitely a no-no for me. So then I ended up going into the film and TV world as a makeup artist. And I kind of think that if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, I'd still be doing makeup. And maybe in the film and TV world, I've always kind of loved the whole editorial fashion world of makeup, but there's not as much of an industry here in Toronto for that. So I feel like I would have to be either in the States for that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just someone that gets bored so easily. So maybe I would do makeup for 5 years and then have a whole career change. But definitely in the entertainment-ish industry / that whole world. I've just been fascinated by it my whole life.
Yeah.
What about you? What would you be doing if not?
I can picture two
Poddy Talk
different
right now.
lives two different lives if one had, I don't know. One would be a corporate lawyer. I could have, I always saw myself potentially getting into law. One, because I just can talk my way out of anything. And I would love to, be on a trial and do that whole process. Because it's kind of like a performance and I think I would be good at it. Like I really like advocating for people and I just always have loud, crazy opinions. So I don't know. That seems like I could be aligned with that in another life. And the other thing I guess would, have been just being on Broadway, like gone way more theater route and stayed in the musical theater world and, fallen into that path. I don't know.
Two very different
streams. But somehow I feel like I've married the two in a way in my life now where I kind of have the business and the art floating together, which is what I prefer. So you don't have to choose a side.
I agree. I feel like the exact same thing right now. I feel like it's like the perfect marriage of everything. So let's not pick. Let's stick to what we're doing.
If you had to pick jobs for your parents,
what we think they would be good
at,
sorry, there's like something in my eyeball. Don't mind me as I impale my. Okay, we're good. We're back. I think. Okay, so my dad definitely should have.
Well, you should say what he is now.
I don't know do they want all this information public? Maybe they don't.
Oh, maybe they don't. Yeah, don't say what he is now. Maybe just say what you think he should be.
I think my dad should have been in the car industry. I think he should have been actually a mechanic. Or like someone
sales? Like sales?
No. Definitely something that does not involve talking to people. Hands on. He's like under the car with the wrench.
Wow.
Yeah, totally. Or like someone that does like custom
I could picture that for Danny.
Car wraps or like makes custom but physically is the one like making the things and building things. He loves fixing things. He's very good at that.
Love.
Like he's the one if I like break like say a piece of clothing. I had like a chain link kind of t-shirt. It's somewhere in here. And it broke and he literally had his pliers and like the most dad like non-fashion approach to it. He fixed it with like all these little chains and like it was amazing.
Wow.
He's definitely very good at that stuff. But what he does now is like the complete opposite of that. So
yeah.
I've always said he picked the wrong career.
That's so interesting. What about your mom?
My mom is definitely in the right path, I think. I mean, she's like happy doing what she does. She's a teacher. I mean, I don't think she'd care if I said that. And she is truly truly, I think, the best person at her job.
I agree. She's just the most gracious woman. And
she really is. And she just, like, is so good with children. And, like, I feel like
she's patient. She has the qualities I don't have.
Yeah. Like, she's assertive and she, like, knows how to, like, assert, like, her...
I think that's why she's also a great parent, because it's very similar qualities.
Yeah.
Raising kids, being around kids. And it's hard. You really have to be patient because
and I just...
it's never perfect.
I agree. And I feel like teachers are so important. Like, I mean, obviously I don't want to say like raising kids, but you're spending so much time with these kids. Yes. You're really, truly impacting their lives, or you have the potential to impact their lives.
I've had teachers that have very much impacted my life.
Yeah,
very
and
much.
I think she's that, so.
Oh, I love that. That's really nice.
I think she's in the right career.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, my dad, if I had to choose a dream career that I picture for him, which is not the career he has, would be creative director or designer.
Wait, what?
So my dad, Steve, is the most, like, he's such an ideas guy. Like, if I come and I have this idea and I sit with him and I'm, like, pitching something, he's the first one to, like, come up with these, like, awesome slag lines or company names or, like, all these fun things, and has really great vision in terms of, like, long-term. So anything in the creative director world, whether that was for an artist or for, like, talent, like, he would be very, very good at that. He's also a very calm presence. So, again, very good for creative direction because you don't get that, like, overwhelm.
Yeah.
And, like, designer, because even though, he obviously has his own great fashion sense, I would say, but he's more concerned with, like, problems in the fashion world and will try to solve them. Like, my mom has had arthritis, like, her whole life, so she can't wear high heels. My dad did, like, this crazy amount of research and literally created a shoe that he named after my mom.
Wait,
and, like, got it made. It's on, like, the perfect, like, arch so that, like, her toe, it isn't under the pressure of the arthritis.
Wow, romance is alive, y'all.
Yeah, because he was like, I want her to feel sexy and I want to, like, all these things. So, yeah, designer or creative director would have been my route for my dad.
I had no idea. That's crazy.
Yeah, and, like, he's not in a creative job, so it's iconic. But I guess, maybe he's also good at it because it's more of a passion thing. You know what I mean? Like, when it's your work, maybe it's a little different. So, anyways.
And what about your mom?
Oh, my mom. I could see her being in a way more, like, corporate setting than she is, like, kind of being more of, like, a boss, like, babe.
Yeah.
She didn't go the corporate route, and I feel like in the long run, I'm sure that was better for her, but she does have, like, the chutzpah in her, and I totally could have seen her doing that, whether that's, like, in law or, in any kind of business world, but yeah.
But yeah, then it's that whole idea that if that changed, then maybe we wouldn't even be here if the whole path was different.
Isn't that weird to think about?
That would be...
He was actually going to be a hockey player. My dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was an amazing goalie and was, like, very close to going to the NHL.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What sports were you good at growing up?
None. No, I'm kidding.
You were a dancer. Shut up.
I was a really strong dancer.
I think I have pink eye.
Dude, that's gross.
What's that from? Farting on your pillow?
Literally pooing on yourself. That's gross.
No, my eye.
That's potty talk.
That is potty talk behavior.
Yeah, I was, like, really bad at sports. Like, really bad at soccer, really bad at, everything. Even running, which is ironic that now I'm running a marathon.
Stop talking about
No, but I'm just saying, I wasn't good at sports. I was really good at gymnastics and really good at dance, and that is far beyond the scope of anything else I could not do. Like, even skating to this day, I'm not very good at skating.
I can't stop on skates.
You're good at skating.
I don't know.
You say you're bad at, like, most sports, and then as soon as we start playing, Jaclyn becomes the most competitive in every setting.
Well, that's the thing. I'm competitive, but I don't have the basis of the skills to carry me through.
And then you just hurt yourself.
I don't hurt. That's the one thing. I don't hurt myself.
The flop on the ice at the Body Shop mansion when you hurt your knee. You, like, did a full-on like, you when I was
belly diving?
Yeah. You purposely did it.
Yeah.
Like, she just goes so far above and beyond.
It's too much. I need to just, I'm constantly at a 10 and need to be at about a solid 6.5 to be making it through.
I think it's time to bring us to the roses and thorns of the week.
Roses and thorns. My rose is going to be that I washed all my makeup brushes and they were just so dirty and needed to get cleaned.
Feeling.
Oh, I feel so good right now.
I love that.
Also,
you need to share your tip on cleaning. I feel like people need to know.
Cleaning brushes?
Yes. This is the hidden secret.
What, the 99?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. No, you just think it's a hidden secret. I feel like everyone knows this. You use 99% alcohol to clean your makeup brushes to kind of spot clean.
Okay, but not everyone knew this.
Oh,
I swear.
It's just, I guess maybe it's a makeup artist thing.
It is. That's what I'm saying. It kind of is a hidden secret. Like, it's
like if you're on set and you just need to quickly clean something, everyone uses 99% alcohol. It's more effective than most brush cleansers, so I always use that. But then if you want to do a deep clean, I always shampoo with like baby shampoo or like soap or whatever. And love that. Anyways, another rose is I've been playing beach volleyball.
Yes.
And I am feeling good. I love it.
How was the weather the other day? It looked a little...
It was actually really nice. It was a bit, like, chilly, but I'd rather, like, I sweat, obviously, so much and, like, it's so aggressive that, like, I get so hot that, like, it was a perfect temperature. But the beach, that's the same beach that we cleaned up, so it was looking very clean when we went there. And then another rose? No, thorn.
Thorn.
Thorn is that my toenails look so disgusting right now.
Ew.
I needed a pedicure. It's because of the beach volleyball, though. Like,
if
all
my
the
nails
sand,
are not done, I feel like a disgusting human.
Do you see this?
Ew,
it looks like
they
not
actually
okay.
Are gross.
Oh, it's disgusting. And then a rosebud is that we're going to go get matcha lattes and coffee cake muffins after this.
Yes, we are. Okay, a rose is that we're going to New York again, 4th of July.
Yeah. We have a mini tradition.
We have a mini tradition now by accident, but we went to New York over the 4th of July last year, and we docked ourselves out in Brooklyn and literally just had the best time.
The best time.
Like, we were on this rooftop, like, sipping mojitos. Like, it was truly one of the best days of 2018, I would say.
Yeah, that was actually such an iconic, like, and defining life moment.
And also, like, I think for our friendship was, like, the solidifying, we're in love.
You're a real one. You're a real one, boo.
Another rose is that, I have to say, really looking forward to the coffee cake muffins. They're vegan, which I would...
It's the craziest thing.
It's from
they're vegan. Sweets from the Earth. It's like some Toronto vegan brand, and they're like
so good.
I think they're gluten-free, soy-free, nut-free. Like, they're free of all the things. I can tell you
that much.
It cannot be good for us, but they're so damn good.
The thorn is that, you know what? The air conditioning in my condo has shut off.
Wait, what?
Like, over the last couple of days, I said to Adam, yo, can you fix this? And he went over and tried to, like, re-click it back on, and then I, like, heard a bit of a blow. Like, it, like, made a bit of a sound. And I was like, okay, I don't know. So, gotta look into that. That's definitely a thorn. And then a rosebud. So, I was gifted this, like, beautiful bouquet of flowers, which you actually saw.
Yeah. I put them in your trunk.
I sent a photo to my mom, and she goes, you do not have a green thumb, because they're, like, dead within a day.
This is a rosebud, not a thorn.
No, the rosebud is that I'm trying to nurse them back to health, ?
Oh, okay. You're trying to save the plant.
I'm trying to save it. So rosebud is hopefully that it comes back to life. I've put so much love and water into it, and, like, it's in the sink now.
The jaclyn juju, I'm putting it out there.
This poor plant, it really was beautiful. I kind of hope it lives, but we'll see.
Well, let's hope. For the sake of Poddy Talk, we'll keep you updated on the next episode.
Okay, well, thanks for tuning in to Poddy Talk episode 7. Wow, très bien. Okay.
Fun fact. Oh, that's a good fun fact.
Should I save it?
French. Yeah. You went to...
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Okay, stop. Okay. Stop this behavior. Thanks
thank
guys
you
so much for
much
watching this episode of Poddy Talk, the podcast
where we shit talk ourselves.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Torri.
And this has been another episode. Over and out, baby.
I actually go by Tor by most family and friends.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, I do. My mom calls me Tor.
Bye.